Hello, everyone. The Abia State Governor Alex Otti says he has activated strategy to secure Nnamdi Kanu's release. Justice James Omotosho, according to Sahara Reporters, delivered the judgment on Thursday, November 2025, convicting Kanu on terrorism-related charges, a development that has triggered shock and sorrow across Abia State and the wider Southeast. The Abia State Governor, Alex Otti, has reacted to the life imprisonment handed down to the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu by the Federal High Court in Abuja, vowing to intensify a diplomatic strategy aimed at securing his release. Justice James Omotosho delivered the judgment on Thursday, November 2025, convicting Kanu on terrorism-related charges, a development that has triggered shock and sorrow across Abia State and the wider Southeast. In a statement personally signed by the governor and released through his media advisor Ferdinand Ekioma, Otti revealed that he has already initiated high-level engagement with federal authorities long before the judgment and will now escalate those efforts since the trial has reached a conclusion. Because the first thing when I saw the title, I was like, why? This is campaign after election, medicine after death. Why is this what you are putting out there? Why is this what you are putting out? Why is it now that they have done the ruling that you're making this movement? In what the governor has put out here, it's something that he has been working on. While Martin Namdekan is free to appeal his conviction, I'm happy to inform you that I have activated and we continue to work on the already agreed strategy until the freedom is secure, the governor said. Governor Otti discussed that during a visit to Kanu at the Department of State Services DSS earlier in the year, he communicated details of the political and diplomatic resolution framework being discussed with the highest authorities in the country. He criticized what he described as the federal government's mishandling of the early stages of IPOP crisis. The government argued that poor management allowed tensions to escalate into current situation. He insisted that political dialogue remained the only sustainable path to peace. The poor management of the IPOP issue at the incubation stage created the problem we have today. Hence, we cannot allow it to linger and create a bigger, monstrous situation for us, Oti said. The governor cautioned politicians against exploiting Kanu's trial for political gain and urged residents of Abia and the entire Southeast to remain calm, avoid inflammatory remarks, and support the ongoing diplomatic efforts. Oti recalled his long-standing advocacy for dialogue, referencing the 2017 condemnation of the military invasion of Kanu's family home during Operation Python Dance, which he described at the time as an excessive use of force. According to him, engagement with federal authorities since December 2023 produced initial agreements dependent on the swift conclusion of Kanu's trial, agreement he now expects to move forward. I have no doubt, he said, with the assurances I have received from the federal government, a resolution is in sight and Mazi Kanu will receive his freedom. Governor Otti reaffirmed his commitment to pursuing a peaceful negotiated solution aimed at restoring lasting stability in the South East. There are some who, for them, some of the things that have been going on, they feel that, oh, why is it that people are supporting? I saw a particular tweet that someone had done that we keep moving, we keep shifting the goalposts so that when something is done, we're like, oh, why was it not done in another region? Why is it done in this particular region? And I think I'm looking at where some people have looked at what Dr. Sam Amadi, I did a video on what he said, where he said that the conviction of Kanu is a political trial of the Indigo. That why is it that other people, of course, have other terrorists that have been doing a lot, they have not been convicted, or they have people who have incited, because the argument of his lawyer is that he did not do it, that whatever it is that he said, inciting statements that he had made and all of that, that those were verbal, that it wasn't something that he carried out action on, to do it. But it's a whole lot of case going on in the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Currently, from the reports that we have from his lawyer, Nnamdi Kanu has been moved to Sokoto State, where he is being kept in prison there. The judgment that he got was a judgment of life imprisonment, And there's a whole lot of drama. Just to give you a bit of background story for those who don't have the summary of it, or what one of the things that happened is that Kanu himself decided he was not going to use lawyers, and so that he let go of his lawyers. He decided he was going to run the case himself. He was supposed to bring out witnesses. He had even put out a long list of witnesses that included very prominent Nigerians, including former Chief of Army Staff Buratai, Lagos State Governor Governor Sanwo-Olu, and former Rivers State Governor, now Minister of FCT, Wiki, and quite a number, of other high-standing Nigerians. And then he came out at the last minute to say, no, he was not going to do that anymore. For him, one of the things that he said was that the charges for which he was being charged no longer existed in the Nigerian law because there was a repeal of the Terrorism Act law. And what he had asked for was that the case should be thrown away. And of course, Nnamdi Kanu then decided to go to the Court of Appeal to say that, hey, the High Court, the Federal High Court did not have the jurisdiction to try him, because for you to try someone, that particular thing that you're trying someone on has to be an offense, that is put there. And then if a law is repealed, if an act is repealed, whatever it is that used to be an offense can no longer be an offense because it had been, repealed. While that was happening, Justice Omotosho gave him the last chance for him to bring forward his witnesses and sort of like oppose the prosecution. And when that didn't happen on the Monday, then on Thursday he went ahead to give judgment. While the judgment was going on, Nnamdi Kanu sort of like, how do I put it now? Sort of what was saying no to that particular judgment, affirm saying that no, the judge should not go ahead protesting. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Protesting against the judgment being done, because he said, "There's no, why are you charging me on a crime that doesn't exist in Nigeria as a crime, on something that doesn't exist in Nigeria as a crime?" And at the end of the day, the court, sort of like the judge acts as security agent to take Nnamdi Kanu out of the court. And Nnamdi Kanu was taken out of the court, and that judgment was done in his absence in the court. And in less than 48 hours, the next story that we heard, so there was a judgment, right, and was given life imprisonment. And in less than 48 hours, we heard he had been moved to Sokoto. There are some who will argue that, hey, anybody can be moved anywhere, wherever they decide on the prison that you're going to stay. But the alacrity with which that was done is one of the things that raises eyebrow. Because first of all, you're wondering, even before the Prisons Act or DSS or whatever it is that's holding him, you would expect that they should have waited to get the certified true copy. Because whatever a judge says that's not the judgment. The real judgment is what is written down in the certified true copy, which is something that I don't think they waited to do. So it also begs with the question of what really is going on. Thank you so much for watching.